Hello, welcome to another tonal landscape oil painting demonstration. This is your painter in residence, M. Francis McCarthy, and the painting I'm bringing you today is called Dawn by the Sea. It's a 6 by 8, and I painted this a few weeks ago. I'm real happy to share it with you today. It's sort of a tonal approach to this kind of seascape scene. Technically, I think it's a landscape with some sea in it. I tend to see an actual seascape as having more of a focus on the waves and the water, but whatever. A rose by any other name is still going to smell like a rose. I'm working on some, it's probably MDF, and it has several coats of house paint on it, and a color I really like. It's called Rich Soil, not Soil. I found that out yesterday or day before when I went to go reorder some, and they didn't have my chip there. I couldn't find it. And I said to the guy, I said, "It's called Soil. It's called Soil." And he's like, I don't see it." I got some of another color that was a little paler, a little less umptious. Yeah, workable, but I ended up using that today on some boards for like the first two coats. I do at least two or three coats and let those get good and dry. Yeah. And lately I've been experimenting with another type of substrate, which I guess I'll talk about in the video where we're actually working on that. But I really love the smoothness of MDF. I have lots of MDF boards cut and ready to go, so I won't be abandoning it anytime soon. My concern with MDF is really as simple as uh, works on MDF need to be treated like their works on paper, because MDF is not going to enjoy getting real solid exposure to water. You can't put it outside, things like that, which I'm not that worried about. Let's be honest. I mean, paintings are designed to go in frames and hang on walls and not be messed with. But you want to know, at least for me, I am always working for art history. I'm always working for the painting to survive in this reality and existence longer than I do. And I think that's definitely been one of the motivations of artists for a long time. It's very funny what motivates people to create art, but it's always good to recognize that there's another word that has the word art in it, and that is artifice. And that's right. And artifice means that things aren't always what they seem, and this landscape. Actually, you can see my reference image, which was manipulated extensively, but you can see it at the fore of the members area videos. And I've had some great comments on some of the members area videos. They're not overly long. This is about 2 hours, and there's a color mixing session and stuff like that. It's the live thing, and if you look on my channel, you'll see there's now a playlist of my earliest live videos back in 2000, and I think it was 19, I decided to just go live, and the whole channel was live for a long time. And I ended up taking all that off the publicly accessible bit, and just creating the members area, and that was the foundation of it. But there's so many in the members area now. I felt that since those were initially recorded and released to the public, it would be good to go ahead and keep the channel, the integrity of the channel. Yeah, and so they're there for you if you want them. Check them out. And if you like that, that's a playlist. It's live 2019 or something. If you like that, the members area got so much better, and I got so much better as an artist. Funny enough, I've been looking at, and I have been talking about this, and this is gonna be a little rambly. It is middle of the week video. I'm a little late for the middle of the week, but I'm gonna put it up tonight anyway. I've been looking at the older videos on the channel, and a lot of that's been looking at my own paintings and writings and things about painting. So much of that hasn't changed, because it's very interesting, because the point I'm at now, reviewing my older videos, it's like 7 years ago. It's almost smack dab in the middle of my painting, career. I've been doing this full time out here for about 15 years, and I've had some good successes, and I've had some frustrations. But ultimately, if you're an artist, the greatest success is in creating work that you think is hitting the mark, work that you think is going to be moving for people and enduring and communicates what it is you're trying to get across. And mostly for me, what I'm trying to get across is a certain feeling, and I find that landscape is the perfect vehicle for that. Uh, anyway, I've gone through several different phases working on different ground colors. I've been working on smooth and texture. These days where I'm at is I really prefer smooth. I like to let my brushwork create the texture, you know. It is nice if you have a textured substrate that you can utilize that really as kind of an aid in your painting. Like I had situations in the long ago past where maybe my cloud transition was a little abrupt when you could just take a little bit of dry brush if you have some texture there. And honestly, if you're working in a second pass, um, you can do that as well. We've got the book, and after the book, I think we're going to talk about that second pass thing again. The book covers the first 13 years of my painting journey, and really, more than anything, it covers how to approach painting in a tonalist manner. And I think it's going to be very helpful to you if that's what you're interested in. We got several orders coming in, and I'm happy to ship it to you anywhere on the planet. $60 U.S. international shipping is included, just to keep it easy for everybody. So check that out if you're interested. Anyway, the second pass thing took me a long time to let that go, and even earlier on, I was just going into 3 and 4 passes sometimes, and it was the video era more than anything else that helped me get over that, because so many times I'd be reviewing a video and seeing a painting not left at a certain state, but it looks good, and then I see myself come in and keep working on it, and quite often, sometimes that those changes were good and beneficial, but what's better is to leave it alone, to keep that initial expressive, you're looking at the reference and you're saying, how am I going to do this with paint? I'm going to mix some colors and I got some ideas about some patterns. And in my case, I like to move through the whole painting process. I don't rush, but I like to move through every part of it quite methodically. And you can see I always use the same approach. I was doing underpainting and then do my sky and then throw in my darkest bits of the landscape, and then basically my plan from there is to bring the colors from the darkest colors in landscape out to meet the lightest colors of the sky. And there's no reason for me to I haven't changed that for never, because that just makes logical good sense to me. But I have changed for example, the texture thing, which I used to take advantage of mostly in the second pass, and honestly, the texture is a bit more work when you're working in a fresh alla prima sort of way, because you have to scrub the paint into those little nooks and crannies. That's kind of a pain. I like to just have my brush just glide over the board. There's a little bit of resistance from that paint roller. A lot of times I really sand most of that out. I just like a slick surface, and I think over time that became my preference because I became better at painting. Yeah. We'll tune you back into the scene here. You kind of doing a dawn sort of sky, and a lot of times in my reference images, which, like I said, you can see that in the members area, and it does resemble this. You can see the composition. You can see, I think it's very illuminating because you can see what sparked me to create this painting. But what's I think would be even more interesting is another artist would make a completely different painting based on the same reference. And today actually I was messing with one of these AI programs. I don't mind telling you which one. Which one was it? Is called Night Cafe. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. And I use the built-in AI features in Photoshop to help me move things around. To, like, say I've got a great tree, but I want to place it. I probably used it here to help me with some of this little beach and the waves and things like that. And what's pretty cool is that it does an okay job. It's a little bit crude, that that Photoshop AI, but it does kind of get me over the hump. And the reason I went to this night cafe was to see what would happen if I took one of these composited images and dropped it into there. And I got a really amazing. Actually, there's a slider that you can drag, so it can be almost exactly like it, or radically different, and it starts off in the middle. And so it took the scene I'd composited with some bushes and rocks, and it made it this really amazing rock thing. And well, it's good we got about 3 or 4 minutes to talk here, because I want to talk about that AI art. It's amazing. It's amazing what it does. Now, I have to say, most everything it does has this kind of plastic feel, which, I don't know if they'll manage to get rid of that. It shows up more in some sorts of things than others. Everything I was doing, I was asking for photorealistic, but it doesn't get that close when it's imagining things completely. But what is amazing is how it tunes in on the light source, the cast shadows. Um, the, Basically, it didn't change. It actually, with that slider all the way to the right, it completely and utterly changed the composition, but it kept the colors and it kept the feel and the basic subject, right? Fascinating, and I plan on looking more into that. And but it got me thinking, wow, I'm so glad I'm not a commercial illustrator anymore. But if I was, I would be using this stuff, and my whole angle I would be working would be saying, okay, well, I'm just going to use this as a springboard or reference, because it can figure out things way better than I can as a human being. It can source a reference better than I can. It can access previous images better than everything. But what it can't do is what I do, which is be myself. And I was talking about this on the previous video, and you might think, oh, that's not such a big deal, but really it's going to be everything. And if you're interested in doing art, you need to get more and more focused on what it is you want to do. And just as an aside, I was listening to a video talking about how this AI got so good, and this guy was saying there was three basic ways that nature has equipped us to learn. The first way would be evolutionary, which is trial and error over, millennium for some creature like us to get successful, right? Or any other of the other critters. Um, then there was experience, and that I'm always harping on that. You hear me harping on that, because it's one thing to have ideas about something. It's a completely different thing to put those ideas into practice and then fail and then adjust and then succeed somewhat and keep going from there. That's the way that I've always talked about learning. But there is a third way that you can learn, and that is through language. And you probably could learn things from insights I give you here. Like, I can save you a lot of time by telling you about my process. Or if you get the book, you've got hundreds and hundreds of tips there. It would save you a lot of time. But when you marry that language with some experience, you're going to be able to speed things up. But at the end of the day, you've got to get in there and you've got to make drawings and paintings. And the more you do, the more this style that you want to have will start to materialize, to the point you'll know you've got something when you can't escape your style. And style's a funny thing. I've talked about it a lot. As a professional commercial artist, I was called upon to ape people's styles all the time. I mean, it was practically a weekly occurrence where, oh, we want this art and we want it to look like that, and it's someone else's style, and I would do it. And is there any shame in that? Not really. I mean, it's a job, and you can't copyright a style. But honestly, I'm not presenting that work here on YouTube because it was just a commercial job. I could have some pride that I was able to do a good job, and I could also be proud that I learned something and was able to, you know, incorporate that person's style into the sorts of things I could do. But the best thing is your own style that comes about just because you're working all the time. So if you're worried about AI art, there's a solution. You do more art of your own. Anyway, till I come back with another video for your edification and enjoyment, do me a favor, do me a solid. Take good care of yourself, your family, all your loved ones. Stay out of trouble. God bless you and your family, and more than ever,